Today's episode is brought to you by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. You can start your own free 21-day trial over at checkfront.com.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, please welcome your host, Shane.
And welcome to Tourpreneur at Arrival, presented by Checkfront. We're joined today by Mr. Robert Graff of Bindlestiff Tours. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Shane?
Fantastic. First of all, what is a Bindlestiff?
Oh my gosh! When I joined the company, I got a bit excited about. I happened to be in a meeting in DC in the travel industry, and I said, I've just started with a new company, Bindlestiff, and so what's a Bindlestiff? I had to go look it up. Basically, remember like the wary travelers that used to travel around maybe in the big depressions and everything, they had this stick and they had that little handkerchief where they had all their possessions.
Yeah.
That stick and handkerchief is called a Bindlestiff.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Never knew that. So, you're multi-day tours, correct?
Yeah, that's our area of expertise. So, small groups, that's what we do, no more than 14 people. Multi-day tours. We do have day trips as well, multi-day tours with guaranteed departures. So that's what makes us so unique, that you can pre-book a set day on a particular tour. And we do that out of Las Vegas. We do it out of San Francisco, Anchorage, Seattle, and we're launching Salt Lake for next year.
Fantastic. When did you guys start up?
We started up in Las Vegas. So the company's been around for around almost 9 years.
Yeah.
And now there's around 35 vehicles with around close to 40 guides. And it's basically taking you into that experiential space. These are passengers that wanted more submersions into the national parks. We do two things. For example, you have a lodging program where you can stay in. We have all the room allocations within the national parks. Or the other aspect is you can go camping, where we actually have pre-secured all the campsite locations within the national parks of the Western United States, Canada, and Alaska as well. And we'll provide the tents, all the camping equipment, and you're traveling around with experiential guides who are here to personalize your whole experience and put you like in very unique settings. Like when we say lunches included, say if you're up in Navajo country in Monument Valley, to us that means taking you into a Navajo Indian's home. They're going to be preparing their tacos right there on their kitchen, stoves and everything, and you're going to be eating at their kitchen tables.
Wow.
It's submerging you into these different experiences.
Wow, that sounds amazing. What's been your favorite tour so far that you offer?
Actually, my favorite tour is one that covers the national parks. We have a tour that covers, I'd say it's like a 3-day tour to the national parks. It does Bryce, Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, Antelope, Horseshoe Bend, some areas that I'd seen and everything. And then you have that whole experiential side. I remember the first time on one of our tours, I was very interested to see the dynamics, how the guides were going to be handling. We had multi-generational travelers on our tours because I could see the reservations. And I saw there was a grandmother, a mother, and 2 children. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be really interesting. These are all different levels. And I was fascinated by how the guide was going to be able to tailor-make that experience for each of them. And on the first stop, I think we were in Bryce Canyon National Park, and I remember the mother and one of the daughters went out on a hike, and when they came back, the guide asked, how was that hike? And they said, oh, that was very, very easy. Meanwhile, the grandmother wanted to sit by the lodge and the campfires. What caught me off guard is on the next national park, the guide stepped up the level of the hike and put them on a slightly more of a moderate level type tour. And of course, the next question when they came back, how was that tour? And so you could see they're adjusting to the needs of the group of what they want and customizing those experiences for them.
Fantastic. So I think of all the interviews I've had this week at Arrival, you have a much different challenge than most tourpreneurs because being multi-day, obviously the ticket price is so much higher, right? This can run into thousands.
Yeah.
There's accommodation and everything
Well,
else.
you can do a national park tour for $675 out of Las Vegas, say double occupancy. But yeah, you could go, you have some itineraries that, for example, our Alaska ones that can go up to, $3,000-$4,000 for 15-day itineraries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my question then is, selling a $40 walking tour, fine, it's $40. You're selling something at those prices. How much of your business is coming in where people are booking online versus calling?
Well, online is a very big percentage of our business. I'd say we're probably split 50-50. It's very important for us to maintain these very high reviews where that customer is doing a lot of research when they're coming through. And then we're reliant also on the OTAs and the traditional travel tour operator distribution channels to sell our products. So you got that happy mix between both, and you got to kind of balance it out. What makes multi-days maybe a bit different, we're heavily pre-booked. You're not just going to suddenly show up in the national parks and think there's going to be a room available for you or campsites are available in peak summer. So our booking window tends to be I'd say definitely we start closing things down around 30 days prior. That doesn't mean we don't have availability earlier, but they're more our day trip components and everything. But it's a lot of pre-planning. And then a lot of customization. You have a lot of virtuoso-type travel agents, high-end, that they say, I need a private guide standing by, pick me up in San Francisco, visit these 4 parks or celebrities type, and they want that special tailor-made tour, which we will do as long as it's all tied to the national parks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm impressed that it's 50-50 because, I'm a huge fan of multi-day tours, but they're a lot of money. So I understand when people want to speak to a human being to find out more about the tour, especially if it's a company that they've never heard of before.
Right.
So the fact that it's 50-50, you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, slowly but surely. So, we're now moving into, our tours are in English. So one of the things that we really don't want to do is have that full, a guide speaking multiple languages on one tour. We think it kind of destroys that uniqueness of that personalized service that you're doing in a small group setting. And that's the key. These people are paying more because they really don't want to be on a large 50-passenger coach.
Yeah.
They, for example, you're not going to get me lining up at a restroom toilet waiting to go there. So the customer who's traveling is looking for that slightly higher end excursion, but they want more of that submersion type experience. Give me some unique experiences, tailor make it to a bit more what my needs are. I think that's what the advantage of the small group travel component that we have.
Take a day off from answering emails, telling your team what to get ready, or manually entering info across sales channels. Actually, take many, because Checkfront will help manage your bookings. Guests book and pay however they want. Your team has the tools they need to operate smoothly, and your calendar always stays up to date. Now, what will you do with all that extra time? Checkfront. One booking platform, limitless possibilities. Find out more at checkfront.com.
Are you working with Tour Radar?
Yeah, we are actually. We work very closely with Tour Radar, and they're doing a phenomenal job. It's amazing how I never realized some of the companies that are specialists in the small group space business. And so, I've been doing this for a while for different companies from different levels of sightseeing, and I was stunned to find companies such as Tour Radar just hitting it out of the ballpark with their amazing website experiences and how they're basically they sell our tours.
It's one of my favorite websites. I just love going on there and dreaming for a while and looking at some of these great holidays that they have.
I am shocked. I remember listening to some of their speakers here telling me how they've transacted sometimes ticket prices of $46,000 on a multi-day itinerary, and I'm like, it's the ultimate dream. What are we in the travel business? We sell dreams. We issue this online confirmation. You show up a month later or 2 months later, and we as suppliers are going to be delivering that dream for you.
Absolutely.
And that's what's so exciting about our business space.
Absolutely. Who is your booking platform currently?
We've got a lot of booking platforms. Well, we use like Bookio as our internal system.
Yep.
We use Resdy. We use Bookum. We're a bit on the agnostic side when it comes to systems right now. Everyone has a different aspect that it adds to what we need to deliver the product. Our goal is primarily to our OTAs and our accounts. You tell me what you need, and we'll work the internal systems to make it as easy for you to sell our products. So if you tell me I like Resdy, then we're going to provide you with that Resdy service. If you tell me you prefer this type of API connection, we'll work on all of these different facets.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, because you're very experienced in the travel industry, how do you see the landscape, the online landscape now for booking tours and activities and experiences?
There's been a lot of changes. I think when you see where we're heading right now, it gets very, very interesting. You have a lot of the major platforms who are moving very quickly they want a percentage sometimes of your bookings. I think at the end of the day, the way I look at it is that I think they realize that the future is that direct business coming in, and they all want to be able to capitalize on your own direct website. So they're all trying to get in there from a revenue point of view. And I think we as suppliers have to balance that out. We must balance that direct consumer business that we're coming in, and then we need to use our OTAs that provide an enhanced channel distribution, maybe in markets that we don't want to focus as much attention online to, where we're reliant on people who have expertise. Like, it's really interesting to see that, there's some Korean experts, there's some Japanese experts, there's some globalists. So I think you need to use all of the particular players because they can cater to that audience that they have slightly better. So I think if you flash back and you look at it, we all have to become more savvy from a technology point of view. I think we need to be a bit more aware of what's happening to our data.
Yes.
It's happened in the hotel space, and it's definitely moving into the attraction space. So you've got some very, very smart, big companies who have spent a lot of resources over time building algorithms and understanding that consumer. And I think so we have an obligation to know as much about our own consumer, the peaks, the valleys, the days they want to travel, the booking patterns coming through. I think the biggest challenge as you look down the road from a maybe sales or marketing perspective is you got to make sure you don't have everything maybe in one place right now where someone knows more about your business than you do.
Right. Yeah, that's sound advice. Where can people find your tours online?
First of all, you can go to bindlestifftours.com. So, and that's where you can go check out our particular products. And of course, our 5-star reviews on all our particular tours and live booking capabilities. And I'm so excited to say that starting in 2020, we will have our apps available on all our tours and destinations. So you'll be able to do the tour in French, in German, in Italian, Spanish. And that's the next generation of touring that we're going to be doing. Providing that guaranteed English experience with that personal connection, but then also having the additional language abilities that can take you a bit more in depth if there's a language barrier that you want.
Fantastic. Best of luck with it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on the show.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.